Oh, I was given one of the things I wanted, but one thing that I didn't know that was coming up, I was very happy to receive. I mean, partially, I wanted this new guy who's seemed to be seemingly named Nebel or Meeple, as a spider dragon slayer, and Carlos Drake calls it as spider thread. But when he talks about it, he says sticky dragon, which at the same time I'm still pretty fine with because spider dragon is cool. I'm extremely intrigued on what a sticky dragon is. That alone is more. It's not as badass, but it's more kind of just one kind of idea to run the mind, because like you can kind of like figure out a spider dragon. I posted a picture, of some fan art of one when I was looking for art for my predictions of this chapter, and I found a pretty good one. I feel like a spider dragon, is pretty cut forward in some degrees, but a sticky dragon, you get what's that Pokemon Slugoo, maybe like that. I don't know, but I like Spider Dragon, and Sticky Dragon is fine, but I'm wondering if he just calls himself a Sticky Dragon because he's not very smart. He doesn't seem like an intelligent guy. He wrapped up all the members of Fairy Tail that were at the orb that he was at, or rather Crystal, and he laid out his plan, waited, and he had caught Wendy in there, his new prey, as he says, and now he's pretty excited. He wants to eat her because she does in fact smell like dragon, because we know that dragon slayers smell like dragons. And to be perfectly honest, what's funny is I like his design. It looks weird from the side. There's like a part when he gets close to Wendy and he looks really extra creepy with his weird shaved head with the one like little I don't really know what I would call this hairstyle, just stream of hair, and he getting ready to to eat her. Wendy, she's gonna have to bust into Dragon Force because I don't know anybody that's gonna pop up and really save her. Nobody else is really around to help her. But popping a Dragon Force, she should be able to use her wings to cut up the the sticky situation. No pun intended. Well, half pun intended. That she is now within. But from there, after that, I thought we were just gonna get like a new group of the Dragon Eaters, really showing it. Maybe one of the ones in the last room, but it's really Scullion, Curie, and Madmol. So it looks like they're gonna be the main trio of of the Dragon Eaters as the story progresses. And from that, we see him kind of just like looking on to Alderaan. Alderaan is just being a sleepy boy. He's tired. We don't know why he's tired all the time, but he's resting. He's just sunbathing, enjoying himself, as all these cities of people just exist on his body. And Kyria, Madmol, and Scullion, they're kind of just talking, eating, hanging out as they're kind of getting their plan ready. And then Kyria made a good point, because I was wondering this, is when they're like talking about like they're pretty much just on his hand, like why couldn't they just start eating the ground, because that's part of his body, and Madmol's just like, yeah, let's do it. But obviously Scullion, he comes off as the leader of the trio, and he's like, it seems that from what we've heard, he can read minds. If we start doing that, who knows what will happen. And they said that they're going to destroy the 5 orbs to seal his power. I'm still thinking the opposite. I still think it is to that these crystals are there to keep him like that, because that's what would explain why he's so sleepy, why he's so well kept, and why he doesn't notice all these people like doing stuff on his body. But I mean, it could just be straightforward, like, oh yeah, his power gets sealed. But then what would really the point be if he's not paying attention, doing nothing now? If like they destroy it and then what he loses all his power? I don't know. I like the idea of it being reversed of whereas Mercephobia was a bad dragon, became a good dragon. You have a dragon here with Alderaan who's portrayed as a good dragon, but in reality, he's just a bad dragon being kind of kept under wraps. And it might be able to kind of like work that into the story, maybe because like he's really big. Like you can work out like Ignia, not being found by Acnologia. Obviously, they were hiding. Mercephobia, especially because with Mercephobia, he had the whole ocean to hide under. And with Alderaan, he's a pretty big boy. Granted, the Fairy Tale planet is huge, but he's still a pretty big boy. It'd be pretty easy to detect if he's going around doing stuff. My guess is maybe those crystals, in order to keep him asleep or sleepy, maybe involved to try and, like, for the better safety of the rest of the dragons. They kind of keep that big easy target protected. Who knows? We just keep him in one spot. But they're like, okay, we need to figure out a plan. They're talking about Nebel and then a guy named Wraith, who we see at the end chapter, but they know that there's other groups of people being involved in this, and they want to figure out what to do with them. So they're like, yeah, let's just let Wraith and Nebel do their thing for right now. But Kyria, as is, she decides to get a move on because Dragon Slayer senses she smells Erza, who is now trying to do her best to combat Jellal, because with Jellal, it won't mind controlled, because their mind control isn't just like mindless slaves. It's much more of like what's that guy in Bleach? I can't remember his name. Tsukishima, I think, because his wasn't like, oh, I mind control you into doing these things. He pretty much put himself through their memories, through their adventures, so that they saw him as like a buddy. Whereas like with the White Mage, it's much more like kind of like along those lines, where the characters still possess their personality. It's like they were adjusted to always be like this instead, where they still keep their own characteristics, but instead of like being pro Fairy Tail Guild, they're pro the White Mage and her White Doctrine, which is I like that, because it kind of it keeps the characters intact, and you don't have to write them kind of like out of who they are for the story. They're able to kind of keep in everything and still retain aspects about them. Like with Jellal, because Erza's being smart, she's messing with him, because it's not really like because she talks about how like Jellal acting all high and on a high horse, so all this is what he's doing. But she knows that he's not immune to girls. No, Erza, it's not that he's immune to girls. He's not immune to Erza specifically. And I figured it'd be much more of like straight dead emotion, kind of like classical mind control going into it. But it's obviously much more, as we see now, kind of just slightly altered motivation and allegiances. But the characters still keep a lot of who they are intact. And from that, she's just messing with Jellal, going from different outfit to outfit. And what's funny is the seduction armor was in there, and I know obviously it's like, oh yeah, she's being smart and tactical in this fight situation, but it's also fan service to the readers. I honestly was much more just kind of like completely blown away by the fact that after having it in the series for so long, we finally saw Erza use her seduction armor. That's been all the way back from Sirius Island, when she thought of like as a what if scenario using it against Azuma, but now we actually see it in full action. That was kind of crazy in my eyes. And then obviously, like, a lot of people are just going to be looking at, like I said, the aspects of the fan service, or her messing with Jellal being trying to fight fire with fire. But for me, I just all around, I'm just like, holy shit, we actually finally saw this in play. It wasn't just kind of like formulated in like a what if mind scenario. Maybe we could finally get Abyss Break onto play. Like, we're pulling out a lot of old stuff, a lot of throwbacks, and nice pulls into earlier parts of the series as a whole, which I like a lot. But at that point, he just says screw it, dives onto Erza, and then walks in Laxus. And it was funny because Erza instantly got embarrassed, covered up, because she now is seen as indecent in front of someone else. A wall in front of Jellal, which is that kind of turning point, shifts in her normal armor, and you have such a good moment for Jellal, because similar to Levy couldn't just sit by and watch the fight with Gajil and Natsu at that point, stepped in, and obviously Gajil, even under control, wasn't willing to let Natsu end up hurting Levy. Those aspects of their character are still there, but now we have Laxus, who's shown up to kind of deal with the situation with Jellal and Erza, and he's like, yeah, we were ordered anybody who interferes, we're supposed to kill. And Jellal pretty much is like, even though he's an ally of the White Mage and of the White Doctrine, he will not allow anyone to hurt Erza. So that part of him is still, strong. It's still present. And I was very happy to see, like, even in the mind-altered state that he's in, he's still at that shield for Erza. He values her a lot more than he values himself, which is very nice for him. But at that point, we get the close-up moment, Laxus and Jellal. It looks like they're gonna finally fight. It was set up a while ago. I mean, it was a very interesting match because I think in the series it's the longest running, like, kind of who's stronger between Laxus and Jellal. There's been a lot of characters, it's like, who do you think would win between these ones? But Laxus and Jellal really have just, for at least from what I've noticed, the longest running of kind of characters clash, because they both have a lot of similarities. They're both on that Wizard Saint level. They both were antagonists around the same time. They both had some redemption journeys. Obviously, Laxus wasn't even close to as severe as Jellal's, but still, there's some similarities there between their characters. And it's going to be cool to finally see them fight because, we've got the Lightning Dragon versus, the Man of the Stars. He's going to bring... I want to see, like, a clash of Lightning Dragon's Roar and Grand Chariot just burst into the scene. But then, right there, popping up, here's Kyria. Kyria excited to fight Erza. She's a lady of her love of swords. I've just been calling her, what, sword sexual? Saber sexual? I don't know. Swordsmanship sexual. I don't know. But now she's on the scene, but she's also happy that, she could smell a dragon. And obviously that referring to Laxus, a second generation dragon slayer. And I'm intrigued of whether or not she's going to go for Laxus or Erza at this point, because she obviously, as we've seen, she has a thing for sword fighting in general. Sword fighting in general just does a lot for her. She's already got a little bit of a past with Erza, but now there's a dragon in front of her and objective. So Kyria, I don't expect her to have some, like, large, like, wait out, like, decision case. I expect her just to, right at the start of the next fight, to jump into whatever she decides to go. Maybe going multiple at once. But that fight we'll have to wait a little bit to see. Lucy and Leo are still fighting Mira Jane and Elfman. We got Gray, who's beating up all of the Thunder I keep switching between Thunder Legion and Thunder God tribes, so just Raijin Shu. And then, Juvie Cherrymon. And then here's Natsu with the surprise new character, as he's flying around in the cart that Levy made. So he just sticks a foot out, ends up stopping the cart. Natsu goes tumbling, falls off. And this guy reveals himself as Wraith, the Ghost Dragon Slayer. So this dude, we've got a Corpse Dragon and we have a Ghost Dragon. Like, we've got so many cool Dragon Slayers showing up. I love that about the Dragon Eater so much, is because with them, the only thing you can really expect is their whatever dragon attribute they have. It's not going to be conventional. It's not going to be some element. It's not going to even be like a branched off element. It's not going to be like, oh, well, you have earth. You also have, gems and stuff. Oh, you have fire. Well, you can also have lava. It's like, yeah, here's a corpse, ghost, sticky, armor, the freaking blade. Georg's, I'm very intrigued on what his is going to be as well, because, like, there's always the giveaways for aspects about them, like some of the ways they dress. Like, even looking at Wraith, he looks very tired. He's probably really pale. He looks like he's gonna be like probably like white hair and like near white skin. So ghostly. You have Mad Mole with his armor. Yorja's probably gonna be something like a savage dragon or like a berserk dragon or something crazy. But this guy, I'm very intrigued because there's obviously, like, as they said, there's some issues between Nebel and Wraith personality-wise. Nebel's is probably that he's not very smart. He's probably very, he's very quick to act. He's probably not the strategist. He's very animalistic from what we've seen. Whereas this guy is probably just going to be, like, really crazy. Because one thing that the Dragon Eaters don't currently have is somebody that's just crazy. And this dude comes off as it. He's a ghost dragon. I really want Hiroshima just to take a day and draw what these new dragons would look like. Like, what is he going to do for a ghost dragon? Is this going to be Giratina the Pokemon? Which is funny, because when Giltina was first translated in, in the fan subs, people were calling it Giratina, and now we actually have a ghost dragon. And that's so cool. There's going to be some that have legit dragon cells, out there. Or a Blade Dragon. Okay, that sounds believable. Ghost Dragon. What would happen What happens if you're a ghost of a fire dragon, like when Igneal or any of the other dragon slayers after Act Loki pulled their souls out? I don't know. We will see. But other than that, I'm very intrigued to see how this is going to go, because this is... there's one more chapter before this series goes weekly for who knows the amount of time, because Hiro Mishima's series Heroes comes out October 16th, I believe. Let me check really quick, just get my calendar. October 16th, yeah, that's on a Wednesday. So we'll get the next what's that, chapter 35 for 100 Years Quest, and then we'll get 36, and then until Heroes is done or otherwise said, weekly chapters of 100 Years Quest, which is going to be fantastic. And this is going right as all these fights are setting up, so we're going to be able to keep a lot faster pace. We're going to be moving the plot along really nicely. We're probably going to get a lot of sick new moves from these dragon slayers. With the sticky dragon, I'm very intrigued, because like you look at like Ghost Dragon, I could probably figure out some ideas with him. You got like intangibility, maybe body possession, plasma attacks, maybe like some just some weird spirit abilities. But what is going to be like the entitled abilities for Sticky Dragon? I don't know. That like it's weird enough that it makes me kind of just go, okay, I'm listening. I don't have high expectations, but I'm very curious of how you do this, because I definitely out of them, he's the weirdest in all aspects of design and attribute, but at the same time, it's the weirdest that makes it kind of the most interesting in a way. I mean, how are you going to draw a sticky dragon? Is it going to be like some weird, I don't know, big caterpillar thing? I don't know. Either way, drop a comment below in the comment section on what you thought about this chapter. I'm intrigued to see this dude go, because he's gonna fight Natsu, and what is Natsu gonna clash roars? Is he gonna have a spooky ghost roar? You know what? You know what is actually convenient for this is I just did my video on Jose. It was like last week, and one of the things I brought up was like I liked some of his attacks. Like he's got like the little weird Shikigami ghost kind of designs. Like when he uses Dead Wave, they're very very spooky yet simplistic ghosts. They're just kind of like some weird edged like oval with like a decrepit face on it, and maybe that'll be his. Like maybe that'll come out of his roar, and his roar will have just like a bunch of haunting spirits in it. Maybe it'll have some spooky ghosty effect as well on top of it. But other than that, comment below, tell me what you thought about this chapter and what you think about these characters. I really like this guy's design. I think he looks interesting. I look forward to seeing him get colored. I assume he'll be on the cover for Volume 5. Maybe not the direct cover, like, straight up, but probably on there. We'll see what his color palette is. Or if Mishima wants to, put it out in a tweet or something. Or a way to, we'll take it. But other than that, I'd really appreciate if you thumbs up the video, from the like button and the subscribe button. And check out my other videos. But that, I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.